Hello, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a video that, well, nobody, especially me, could have predicted that I'd ever have to make. Oh my days. So as I film this, I think it was yesterday, Qatari announced a new kit. Always exciting. What a wonderful little company they are. We all know the history. Not going to go into that now. They announced yesterday a 1/48 scale Halifax Mark II. I'm I'm almost speechless actually, which wouldn't make for a particularly good video, would it? If I just stood here with my mouth wide open. But I thought I really have to kind of put my thoughts down, let you guys know. Some of you may not have seen it. If you've not seen it, where have you been? I mean, crikey, it's all over social media. And it's caused a real stir, and rightly so. Obviously, Qatari, or the people behind Qatari, when they were Winged Up Wings, were working on the 1/32 scale Lancaster. Seminal project. We all know the history behind that. I own a border model 1/32 scale Lancaster. Am I going to build it? Not anytime soon, but I will one day because it looks a beautiful piece of kit. Halifax's then in the past has only ever been one, FM Fondeur Miniature or something, French lot. Talk about crude, talk about limited run. Oh my days. Let's just say you have to be a bit of a martyr if you're going to go and build that. And, you know, you do see them built up every now and again. And proper kudos to those modelers that plucked up the courage and have the skill to pull that one off. In 72nd scale, really poorly served Halifax. Revell do one. They do the old match. Sorry, that's my phone, and I'm going to whip that out in a minute, as you'll see. You'll see why. Yeah, they do the old Matchbox one. They do their own tooling of the later one with the sort of glass nose and the Hercules engines. And obviously you've got the old Airfix one, and there might be one or two others lying around that I don't really know about. But that's about it. Very, very poorly served. And I think in 72nd scale, it's fair to say Halifax is the new 1/48 scale Jaguar for certainly British modelers and fans of Airfix. Whether we'll ever see a 1/72 scale Halifax new tool from Airfix, we don't know, but it would be beautiful if we did. Airfix are never going to do it in 48th. They are just not. Maybe Hong Kong models may have done one. Maybe they are planning one. I don't know. But with Qatari, their philosophy of exceptionally well engineered, innovative kits, bringing that and their attention to detail into a 1/48 scale kit is really exciting. I have pre-ordered one, and it's not cheap, $185 US, and it's to the UK it's about $40 to $45 shipping, so $225, something like that. It's about 200 quid probably, ish, roughly. So it ain't gonna be cheap, but it's gonna be an astonishing model kit, and yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it. Their philosophy is, as I said, exceptionally well engineered, well fitting kits, but detailed, but trying to minimize the parts count. So if you've built the Spitfire, or if you haven't, you really should. And if you haven't watched my video series, and you really should, you'll know how lovely their Spitfires are and how beautifully engineered they are. A little bit tricky painting here and there because of, you know, they're not separate parts. A lot of the bits are all molded in, but superb research, amazing instructions right off the shelf of Wingnut Wings, and it's just a beautiful thing. And they're branching out to 109s as well, obviously. But, you know, trying to stay on topic on the Halifax, it's going to be an amazing kit. What I'm doing now is I'm just going to pick out some bits from their press release that they put out on their Facebook page, because that's where I first saw it. Shared it on my page, obviously, straight away. Really exciting. But they're doing something slightly different on this one. So I'm just going to bring that to you now. It's just disappeared. Now I've just pressed the wrong button. Where is it? Okay, here we are. Yeah, so my post, I said bloody hell, which kind of sums it up a bit. Right, so here we go. Qatari Models unveils Project Halifax. Qatari Models is proud to announce our first 148 scale kit set. Number is going to be Kilo 48501, Qatari 148 scale handy page Halifax Mark II. An exclusive limited numbered edition only. I think they're doing 7,000 straight away. After shining light on the early Hurricane in 1/32 scale, a kit that I'm not overly interested in, the Ragwing Hurricane, if I'm perfectly honest, although I do quite fancy the Belgian markings. Got a thing for Belgian aeroplanes. I'm going to wait for the Metal Wing version for sure, and that will be done as a Royal Navy one. Okay, right, so after shining light on the early Hurricane in 32nd scale, we're honouring the underappreciated Halifax with what is sure to become a stunning new release in 148 scale. I second that. It is going to be stunning, for sure. And I like the way they're kind of linking the sort of Hurricane to the Halifax. You know, Spitfire, Lancaster, Hurricane, Halifax. Good job, fellas, linking those two things. I think that's great. Right, here is the interesting bit. Be a part of Project Halifax. Place your order now to automatically become a member of Project Halifax. In a new initiative in kit set development, Halifax enthusiasts can help shape the model from day one. Sorry about the unusual syntax there, it's just the way it's broken up on my phone. This is your exclusive invitation to join the Qatari design team, including lead designer Darren Mildenhall, and be a pioneer in design. Contribute ideas, photographs, drawings and feedback in multiple ways and be kept up to date on the progress of the model like never before. You will have the opportunity to influence every detail. Surface treatment, rivets, oil canning, yes please to both, or smooth panels. No thank you. Colour schemes and squadron markings. Engine options including 1, 2 or none. I'm going to give my thoughts on that in a moment of what I want, although I've kind of given some of the game away. Exclusive community access. Members of Project Halifax will gain entry to private channels and live events. Exclusive Facebook group and forum access for members of Project Halifax. Monthly email updates from the Qatari design team. Quarterly online Q&A with Darren Mildenhall and Qatari owner Mark Robson. Special sessions, online and in person, at major modelling conventions. I'm going to have to get to Telford next year, aren't I? Project Halifax member rewards exclusive limited numbered edition of 7,000 kit sets. There you go, that's where I got 7,000 from. This kit set will never be issued again in the same form. It's a little bit cryptic there. More of that in a moment, if I remember. The exact part set will not be reused for at least 5 years. Pre-order now to secure these exclusive perks. 2 exclusive art prints. The initial marketing image seen here, so that you would have seen that on the title, and that is a beautiful painting. An upcoming stunning box top artwork by noted aviation artist Darryl Legg, and he's worked with Qatari before. So what we see there is not going to be the box art, which is interesting. A free 3D print resin accessory to be decided by Project Halifax members. Unique lapel. Goodness sake, Jamie. Unique lapel pin to identify fellow members at shows and club nights. First 1,000 purchases immortalised by your name in the instruction manual. 20 lucky modelers from the first 500 purchases. I hope I'm one of them. will be randomly drawn, and those modelers will be offered the chance to build and critique T2 test shots. So not the T1. So they'll get the T1, they'll make some tweaks, then you'll get the T2. You'll get, these lucky 20 people will get to build it and give their feedback, and all that will be churned into sort of subsequent. Hopefully, T3 will be the final test shot, and then it'll be released. Our promise, they go on to say. Qatari models have never failed to deliver a pre-ordered kit set. True. So completion of orders is a given. We guarantee full refund available until shipping, so you can pull out at any time. Regular updates on design accuracy and production timelines. Estimated completion 18 to 20 months of design plus 1 year of mold development. Anticipated shipping mid 2028. So don't hold your breath. Join Project Halifax today and help us honour the men and women who designed, built, maintained and flew this stalwart bomber. Models 0001 and 7000 will be auctioned to raise funds for the Big Buddy charity of New Zealand. Note, orders and shipments to the USA are temporary. Right, I'm not going to go down that. All right, so the America postage thing, not going to go there. Pre-order your Kilo 48501 Qatari 148 scale Handley Page Halifax Mark II now, when I've already done that. Brilliant. So there we are. Really interesting post there from the chaps at Qatari. Innovative for sure. And no doubt they're going to get deluged with photographs, notes, pictures with red lines on. Make sure you do this, please, chaps, all that kind of stuff. They're going to have to sift through that, then clearly they're going to have to double check everything that comes in, and I think that is eminently sensible. Because the amount of nonsense, shall we call it, from enthusiastic amateurs are, it's legion. But there will be some gems in there, absolutely, 100%. And I think that is absolutely fantastic that they're opening up and inviting people to contribute. My contribution, I'm going to get in touch with them, and I am going to suggest aeroplanes from Linton-on-Ouse. Now, I don't know if the Mark II flew from Linton-on-Ouse. Linton-on-Ouse has a very special place in my heart. I flew the Tucano there, did 2 tours, well, 2 half tours really, and it's an amazing place. I was officer in charge of the little museum they've got there. They're called the Memorial Room, full of amazing artifacts, bits of Halifaxes, loads of memorabilia from the Canadians that were based there. Whitleys were based there. There's a photograph there. I think it's got 4 commanding officers of 617 Squadron in that photo, because they were based there, including Cheshire. Cheshire won his first gong there, flying a Whitley. And it's just an amazing place steeped in history. And on the officers' mess, the hangars and some of the barrack blocks, you can still see the camouflage paint from the war. There are maple trees all over the place, huge ones, which were planted there by the Canadians during the war, and they've spawned second generation maple trees which are all over the base. It's a beautiful place in a beautiful part of the world, and some of my best memories of my 23 years in the Navy were spent at Linton. It was our first married home. 2 of our kids were born there during flying training. In fact, Julie went into labour on the morning of my final nav test. They were 2 months early. And yeah, it's got a real special place in mine and the wife's heart, and I just love it to bits. And I really, really hope I'm going to have to do some do some research to find out if the Canadians flew the Mark II from there. I suspect they did. I know they flew the Lancaster Mark II there, the one, the radial engine one, which wasn't overly successful. But whether they flew the Mark II Halifax, I don't know. I'm going to have to do a bit of research. If you know, please let me know in the comments below. And I, even if they don't do that as a decal option, I want to do that as a, well, I will be doing a lintel on news based one if they flew them up too. That is. And I live in Lincolnshire, which is Bomber County as well, although mainly they were Wellington and Lancaster bases near me. I can almost see, well, Scampton's about a 15-minute drive away. I've got Skellingthorpe about 2 miles in one direction, and then I've got Swinderby about 1.5 miles, if that, a mile in the other direction. So, Bomber County through and through, even though I was a fighter pilot. There we are. So that's my take on the Halifax. That's what I want. What was the other thing I was going to mention? Right, 3D printed resin accessory. What on earth could that be? Accessory. So I kind of get from that, not wheels or anything like that. You know, maybe some servicing platforms. You know, that kind of thing. Maybe a bomb cart or series of bomb carts. You know, get one in the kit and then you can buy as many others as you want. Maybe a 3D print file if you buy the kit with a, you know, like what Armour do, so you can then build a train of them. And, you know, I know, you know, various companies, not least Airfix, I think, do 48 scale vehicles and things like that. So you could do a nice little diorama. So that might be quite nice. I don't really know. Sorry, there's my phone beeping again. Right, what was it? So yeah, so we're talking 2.5 years. That is a lot of time to obviously do all the research, collate everything, design the kit, and then bring it to market. 2.5 years. I think that's probably, for the company the size of Qatari, I think that's probably about right. If they hit their deadline, their self-imposed, well, it's not a deadline, is it? Target, if you like, then that would be amazing. But I am in no rush. Let them get on with it and do a proper job, is what I say. Right, the options then. I'd already kind of mentioned it as I was going through. Where were they? Bum, 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 bum. Surface treatment then. Right, yes, I did mention that, didn't I? Surface treatment. The Lancaster's beautiful. Not only have you got the rivets, you've got the oil canning. Clearly in 48 scale, it's going to be much more difficult to pull that off. They've done it on the fighters in certain areas, especially where the sort of the fasteners for the radiator on the Spitfire go, for example, where you get the depression and then you get the fastener in the middle. That's amazing. The level of detail that they've done on the 109 with the screw heads all in different directions, for example, just beautiful. As I mentioned, and I've mentioned this many times before in the channel, not least in the upcoming video of the P36 or the H75 Hawk, which I did rivet, and the Key 43, and the Wildcat I did, and the 72nd scale Hurricane, and the Key 84. I've riveted all of them, all their kits, apart from the 48 scale Hurricane because it comes riveted already. I'm a huge fan of rivets. I think it really sets the model off. I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of accuracy versus art and all that kind of stuff now. Suffice to say, I'm a massive fan of riveting, and I really hope they go down the rivet and oil canning effect, because if they do the oil canning effect, Qatari will nail it. They just will. They're masters at it. So I vote for that. It may be that in 48 scale they have to exaggerate it, A, to make the molds, and B, so that it will show up against the paint. And therefore they might say, well, look, we had to exaggerate it to a certain degree that it's visible, but then it just pushes it a little bit too far, and then it becomes unrealistic. So they may kind of shy away from it. But if they can put it up, excuse me, bit of wind. If they can put it off, please rivet it. Please, please, please rivet an oil canning, because that would be astonishing. Colour schemes I've spoken about. Colour schemes, there's only one really, isn't there? I guess. Well, you got the maritime one as well, which I'm sure they'll do in due course. Right, engine options include 1, 2 or more. So clearly it had Merlins, and it had, I think it was a Hercules, wasn't it? The radials. And, you know, which one are they going to do first? Obviously, you've got all the different nose options, you've got the different tails options, different sort of turrets and armaments and all sorts of things. They're clearly going to do a series. My preference, I'll probably only build one in my life, because of space. You know, where you're going to store it. I know where I'm going to store it, in my man cave, but it looked quite nice next to my Wellington in 48 scale, but it's going to be a big thing. So I'm only ever going to do one. So for me, I don't really mind what it is, as long as it flew from Linton. Like I say, they're talking about the Mark II and then different options. Did the Mark II have different engines? I don't know. Looking at the pictures, it's the Merlin one. I don't really know my Halifaxes, I will admit. But I want to do a Linton one. And yeah, so I don't really care what engines it's got, as long as it flew from there. And, you know, one of the Canadian mob. That would be my preference. And that I'm going to obviously take part in all this, and I'm going to suggest that. Okay. There we are. I hope I'm one of the lucky 20. What's that? 20 in 50. 50 divided by 20. I can't do the maths. It's too late. A 1 in whatever chance. I'm not going to do public maths here. But if I am one of the lucky guys, then clearly I will bring that to you. I will do a sprue tour type review like I normally do. I'll bring that to you, and obviously I'm going to build it, and I'll build it on the channel. I'll also do it as a magazine article as well. So best of both worlds. It will be a lot of work for sure, and how on earth I'm going to get it home once I've built it, I've no idea. I'm probably going to have to buy an extra big suitcase and just pack it full of carrier bags. You know, because I ain't going to get a box big enough for it, that's for sure. And that's a build one. But yeah, that is going to be the plan if I'm one of the lucky 20. If I'm not, then I'm just going to have to wait until I get one of the commercial ones, and then I'll do exactly the same. It just won't be one of the earlier test shots, which would be disappointing, obviously. But the upside is it'll be fully developed, and with all the little bugs ironed out, so it should be a much easier build, or slightly easier build. There we are. I think I've come to the end of this now. Just wrapping up without rambling on too much towards the end. In summary then, what an amazing announcement to just kind of drop it at random out of the blue like that, and what an exciting project on 1/48 scale Halifax. Just amazing. And you know, I'd love it if they downsized their Lancaster into 48th. That would be brilliant. And 72nd as well. Not sure we'll ever see those, but yeah, it's going to be an astonishing project, and I can't wait to get my hands on one. And well done, Qatari, for being brave to do what is clearly going to be a niche thing. The 7,000 are going to sell out for sure. There are going to be obviously other production runs, but different marks, you know, and it's going to be a long, long time before you're going to see it again. There we are. That is the announcement of Qatari and their Halifax Mark II in 1/48 scale, due mid-2028, and hopefully it won't be too far away from that. Thanks very much, everybody. Keep liking, subscribing, and I'll see you very soon. Cheers, bye-bye.